AI is quickly growing throughout many communities. Having an AI assistant in places that you never expected an AI assistant to be. But as we move forward with AI, we want to find the best ways to incorporate the process so our actual thoughts and ideas will not get refuted because we simply use the technology. And the best part is you can find an AI website that will focus on your area. Case in point, SciSpace, the AI assistant that will help research tasks and pull up valuable literature so you can continue on your Nobel Prize. You know, making AI do good for all mankind, that kind of thing. What's up, my geeks? Jeffrey Powers from Geekazine, Think Magazine, Put in a Geek. SciSpace is sponsoring the video, but all opinions are that of Geekazine. We have a full section over at geekazine.com/review, and if you'd like me to review your products or your website, all you have to do is contact me. I'd like to thank all of my Patreons that support the channel. You can go over to patreon.com/Geekazine, and if you'd like to send a one-time tip, that's over at venmo.com/Geekazine. Now, I want to begin by telling you I am not a scientist, but I did play one on a movie a couple of years ago.
Quantum alignment achieved!
SciSpace is fairly straightforward to use, and your research results can differ. Now, what is SciSpace? SciSpace is like having a brilliant research assistant who never sleeps. This platform doesn't just help you find papers, it actually consumes, it understands, and can answer your specific questions about the content. What were the limitations on the study? Or how does the methodology compare to other approaches? And we're not talking formulaic scripts. It gets intelligent, it gets contextual answers instantly. SciSpace is a complete research ecosystem that can help you with your literature reviews, your manuscript preparation, data analysis, and even creating presentations from your findings. A co-pilot for the entire research journey. And it can be used by a PhD student struggling with a dissertation, a professor that's preparing for a grant application, or even the research assistants that were actually tasked to do the thing that SciSpace is doing. This can be a very important tool in pushing research forward at a faster rate. Think about it. You ask for all the research on stem cells. AI will collect what it can, run through it, condense it, give you a summary to catch you up, and then answer questions to keep you motivated to finding the right answers. You find something that can focus on your research, and then you have SciSpace prepare the needed information for a grant. Once the funds are obtained, you take this to research. Because think about it, the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog is not the fastest way to convey a fox jumps over a dog. A narrator wants to paint you a picture, but you just want the facts so you can do something with it. As Louis Pasteur mentioned, in the fields of observation, chance favors only the prepared mind. Now, before we head over, I will say that SciSpace has over 150 tools and over 280 million papers to refer to, and it's growing. Over 6 million people use the service for research, which, as you know, can add to the knowledge base. SciSpace.com is run off of a credit system with a free basic tier, giving someone 100 credits per month. It uses models from ChatGPT, Gemini, and Claude to make their custom SciSpace agent. However, you can also pull up SciSpace GPT and ChatGPT to get content from a single large language model, LLM. So with that, we're going to head over to SciSpace.com, show you all the things you can do with this, and attempt to do a little bit of research on our own. Maybe I'll cure cancer. Probably not. Let's do it. But before we geek out, coffee. All right, here we are. We are on the page. By the way, it's a web page, so it doesn't matter what type of computer you have. You can even use it on your phone. You simply go to SciSpace.com, and that's what's going to take you here. As you can see, we've got a standard setup for just like any other type of AI, where we have the menu board over here, and of course all the main content here. Pricing, if you want to find that out, we'll talk about that a little bit later. But if we expand this side, we're going to see the library, the agent gallery, the AI writer, chat with PDF, some of the other menu items, and then our recent chats. So it does remember if you are logged into the unit right there, the service. So let's minimize that. Let's go ahead and and take a look at the screen itself. What can we do, first of all, with SciSpace? Well, simply a lot. And we're only going to show you a little bit because everything they're showing you about 10 items here in about 30 items total. But if you can hit that show more, as you can see, it can go down and go down. And it'll also give you some ideas, some tasks that researchers do, like draft a manuscript, create a chart. So it depends on how you're going to be using this. What we want to do, we want to search on papers. We want to write reports. We want to extract data, review my writing. What I like to do when I create something is I will speak it out into a recorder, and then I will convert it into a text file. That text file will then get pulled into an AI where I will then summarize or create a script or something like that that is a little bit more palatable. So it corrects my mistakes, basically. So it'll do things like that. You can also take that script in to an area where you can actually say, hey, don't make it sound AI, and it will try and figure that out and correct that for you. So we've got a lot here that we can definitely look at, and we're going to only pick a couple here. So you can figure all that out. You can also use it for doing grants and everything. You can use it with your Python library, grants.gov, Air XIV, Deeper View, Google Patents. So if you're really doing some deep dives, you've got this one-stop area for all of that. And then, of course, you can make a PowerPoint presentation, a Word document, a PDF report. These are some of the things. We're going to do something really simple, and we're just going to search on papers. Just for argument's sakes, we're going to just say stem cells, and we'll go ahead and hit that. Now, what it's going to do is it's going to take a minute as it's going through. Like I said, it's going through 3 different AIs to try and find all the information that you could possibly need for this. So it's starting the comprehensive research. It pulls up a side page here. We've got all the papers that we need. It's still figuring that out. Let's give it a couple seconds. We'll see everything here. It says 20 papers found, and where it found it from. SciSpace, 100 papers, full text, 100 papers, Google Scholar, 20 papers, Air XIV, 20 papers, PubMed is 20 papers, and it's going to combine it all into here. So now I can take any of these papers and I can take a look at it. Like the role of, whoops, it's still trying to find some stuff here. Yep, and now found an additional amount. So let's go ahead and just let's choose application of stem cells in regeneration. So now I can pull that up and I can read on this. We got the TLDR, we got the abstract, but I bet you if I say I want to read the whole thing, I can do that. But we've got a good idea of what this paper is telling us. It was written in June of 2023 at MedCom, and it can give us all the information right there if you really want to read the full article. So it's telling us in this paper, the authors summarize the applications and mechanisms of stem cell and stem cell exosomes for skin and bone healing, and propose new ways of utilizing stem cells, including liposomes and nanoliposomes, polymer, and I'll continue. I won't mutilate these words, but the whole point is I've got a good idea of what this document is. And if it doesn't work for me, that's fine. I'll close that out. We'll go to the next one, stem cells in a regenerative medicine. All right, so we've got a little bit more information. So as you can see, it's right at your fingertips, ready to read, ready to do anything. Once we figure something out, we can add this to our library. So we'll check boxes just for time's sake, and then we can go from there. I'm not exactly sure where I would go from there because this is not my expertise, of course. But as you can see, we've got everything that we need to go forward with what we're looking for. And that's all simply through some simple research. Let's create a new AI assistant here. Let's do this. Let's go down to find grants. I love this idea. So let's just say stem cell research, and we'll take out the region. We'll just say I'm going to go anywhere to do some more stem cell research. So we'll go like that. And now it's going to do that execution once again. It's going to find everything and it's going to get ready to go. And once it's done, then it'll give you a list of everything. So it's researching through this grants in stem cell research. So go get a cup of coffee. And then once this is done, give it a minute or two to come back and give you the results. We're back, and as you can see, we've got a whole bunch of information on stem cell research grants. So we can go through the list right here. We've got a CSV here that we can go through and look at individuals. So once we're done, we can say, okay, I'd like to see ID. Let's do that. We'll go. Give me the rundown on 32,959. So it's going to find 32,959, and it's going to find the grant opportunity. And then it is going to eventually get away from this code and show you the information on the grant. As you can see, fairly straightforward. It's giving you everything that you need to know, from the basic information to the funding details, to the timeline, to the program description, and everything. So when you're ready, because there are deadlines for these grants. This deadline is November 17th of 2025. And so you know that, okay, I can apply for this grant, and here's all the information that they're looking for. The reason why they'll give the grant to the person that's applying. So you'll want to take this information and you'll create your grant to match what they're looking for, and being able to do that. It's telling you, hey, there's an action item. Its deadline's in 3 weeks. And so you got to contact the person as soon as possible. Review the NSF's merit review criteria, and a lot more. And of course, they're giving you even more information right here so you can make the best grant possible, so you can get this, so you can do your research and get it done and move forward in your career. All right, same thing. We went to write a report. Let's write a report on stem cell. And we're just going to try and keep it as easy as possible so I understand it and you understand it. So it's collecting all this information. We might get into that split screen again in a second here. But right now it's doing all the research, all the searching of the documents. And it's giving us, okay, we've got a list of stuff here. We can choose from relevance or newest first or whatnot. Let it finish here really quick. That's the worst part here, is kind of the waiting. It's not that long, as opposed to actually pulling out the books and reading everything. You just got to sit back, grab the coffee, take a drink. And then once this is done, it's still saying combining and re-ranking. You got to watch right about here. This is what's going to tell you what it's doing at that point. So we're just going to let it run, let it figure things out. And then that way, if you start looking at things, you don't get stopped as it refreshes the page. It took about 4 or 5 minutes for all this collection. We got a bunch here. So it searched the SciSpace, it searched the SciSpace full text, this Google Scholar, and PubMed. And it gave me 100 papers, 200 papers, 240 papers there. And then, of course, it's creating comprehensive stem cell research report. And then it brings up this right here, gives me the TLDR right here, all the key takeaways, the introduction. So I can now read through this and get a better idea. I can look at all the files. These are all the files right here that come from these results. So let's just go ahead and collapse that once again. And we can collapse this whole thing to kind of give us more screen space. And we can do that for here too. We can even move this over. Let's move that over as best as possible. And then when we're ready to give further research questions, we can definitely do that. Like maybe take out, I don't know, focus on commercialization issues. Now we're starting to really dive into it and create a little bit more of a narrative so we can focus on what we're doing. While that's running that, let's show you another area of SciSpace, and this is one called the library. So basically, any documents that you want to put into, you can upload or import files. You can bring it into here, and then that'll help with your research when you're starting to compile everything together. We have the notebooks area that can also do the same thing. This is all stuff that you can customize and use for whatever you need to do. And then, of course, let's get into the agent gallery here. Let's go down here. Now, this is going to give you some tasks that you can run, like, for instance, a statement of purpose task. We could hit there and we could hit run task. And it says, review my statement of purpose agent against the prompt, suggest reorganization and clarity edits, return a marked up doc and a clean copy. And we'll hit OK. And then, of course, that's executing that plan. We're still working on this stem cell update. As you can see, it's not going to be quick, but then again, it's better than you getting a whole bunch of books and reading this yourself. All right, here's our end result for that document. I didn't put any other parameters. I didn't put any other information in, so it was very quick, very easy. But as you start collecting stuff, you'll see that this will be able to fill up what you need it to. Let's go to the AI writer. This is another cool tool from SciSpace. You can find and edit 280 million papers, which is pretty cool. So we can start writing with AI. And of course, we have a little help icon down here. So if you get stuck on doing anything, you can have AI to answer the questions of how to use the AI. Pretty cool. All right, I'm going to do this one. I have a skin condition called vitiligo, which is lack of melanin in the skin, and it's linked to stem cells. So I'm going to have it write me an essay on how stem cells affect vitiligo. We're going to hit the generate button. I'm going to be keeping it as easy as possible, and it's going to generate some stuff for me as we go. So here we go. It's given me a complete outline of this, the research, the treatment, the introduction, causes, everything like that. And now I can start bringing stuff in here. So at the beginning, it says stem cell offer promising potential in the treatment of vitiligo by replenishing lost melanocytes, enhancing skin pigmentation through their unique regenerative properties. So the definition of vitiligo, I can say, hey, let's bring this over here. Whoops, go to definition. We can do the / and say, write me a definition of what vitiligo is. And now I'm going to have it do the definition. I can go back and now I can say, I don't want to see skin condition. I want something else. As you can see, I can make it bold or anything like that. So it's a regular document creator that will be in my library as I go. And that looks pretty good. So we got the definition of vitiligo. Now we can do the overview of stem cells. So we'll hit that / and say, write me an overview on stem cells. As you can see, I can have this thing write me a lot of the paper, but I'm going to have to add some of the stuff myself as we go. But at least I'll have an overview, a really quick overview into my document on what the stem cells are and how it all works, how we can combine it together, and then, of course, create a solution for that. Let's go back to our original research here. It finally finished up, and it gave me a little bit more drilled down on stem cell therapy commercialization. So now I can really focus on that and leave all the other stuff about stem cells out of the picture unless I absolutely need it. And then I can say in the chat here, can you add a little bit about this or that or whatnot, and really bring my document to life. Next up, we're going to find some topics. So here's one: efficient materials for solar panels. Now, we've been dealing with the biological, but science goes across many things. And of course, I'm got some interest in solar panels. So let's go ahead and find out what we can find out about solar panels, because I'm going to be doing some reviews of some solar panels coming up. At the top, we got the answers from the top 5 topics. And of course, it'll give us what solar panels are made of, mostly, and how they're being used and all that other stuff, significantly influenced by the choice of materials. And of course, we can go on, we can read through that whole thing. But then we can come down here, we can check out all the topics that we had for that. And if we want to put it into a CSV, there's an export as CSV right there. 21 topics. And now I can put it onto, a CSV file where I can read it, or actually import it into another document or anything else that I'm working on from there. We've also got a paraphraser tool here. Now, keep in mind here, you could take somebody else's document and throw it into this paraphraser tool, throw it into the AI rewriting tool, and it will actually jumble around words to make it sound like your own. It's not about plagiarism here, folks. It's about actually creating your documents and making you put your best foot forward. Of course, with these tools comes great responsibility, and use it wisely. Do the research and don't Don't just put it out and say it's your own when it's really somebody else's research. Nonetheless, we have the paraphraser tool. That way, if you just couldn't find the right terms to use, you could probably put some information in here and it'll give you some ideas. Kind of like if I do a search for synonyms on certain words because I'm using it way too many times. Citation generator, it's very similar. We want to bring in other people's works and we want to be able to just quote them and reference back to them. So the citation generator is there for all of those documents that you want to mark up. Extract data from research papers, simply upload your PDF and it will extract certain data, certain areas. It's kind of like a summary or anything like that of your choosing. And then once again, I was talking about this before, the academic AI detector. We've seen a lot of AI detectors before. This one is actually tuned more towards the scientific. If you're using another version of an AI detector, that's just going to do general writing. The large language model that this works with, it'll understand those types of terms and facts and figures. So when you put it into the academic AI detector, it can then determine AI and fix the problem without destroying the information behind it. So basically, yeah, you could put in a whole bunch of text here. You can also copy in papers. You can also copy in PDF files through the PDF load. I've actually uploaded a couple because once you upload a PDF, it could take anywhere from 3 seconds to a couple minutes for the document to be analyzed. So I got a couple PDFs here. This first one was heavily AI detected. As you can see, what happens is once you upload it, it gives you this little prompt that basically says what's going to be highly AI written, what's going to be they think is AI written, and then of course this is what's more human written. You can actually see where the high, the low, and the medium type documents are. So you can go through this and you can kind of verify that, if you're using this document, if these statements inside of here, this information inside of here is factual or needs to be corrected or anything like that. So, and I have a feeling that this is going to be brought into a lot of situations where you're doing a lot of high testing, and if you're referring to stuff like this, then somebody's going to be running it through an AI detector to see how much is AI out of this or looking like AI. So found another PDF that I uploaded into here. So we scanned it through and the AI detector said it's 5% detected AI in here. So we'll go down, and this is about varicose veins. And as you can see, we're seeing a lot of the red and the yellow. And if you're writing a document, it might be good to look at these paragraphs and kind of rewrite them. And of course, you can use the paraphraser and things like that. So you can make it sound less AI. And therefore, when somebody reads it, they feel that this was 100% written, or in this case, 95% written human-wise. So as you can see, full PDF document with everything about varicose veins inside of here. That was 5%. A couple more things that I want to show you from here. We do have an iOS app that you can get simply called SciSpace, so that helps you with there. There is a Chrome extension as well, which you can add to if you're using Chrome, you could add it to Chrome. And then, of course, ChatGPT. If you just want to use one LLM, then you can go over to ChatGPT like this. And if you have a ChatGPT account, of course, you can use the GPT called SciSpace, and which is, I even have a GPT called Geekazine Assist. But the one thing about using this is it's only using this LLM. It's not using Gemini or the other ones. So all your information is coming from one source. But if that's something you need so you can wrap your brain around how things are working and how you can pull out data, then this is a great way to do that. And that is SciSpace.com. Let's check out the pricing model here, because that's probably one of the things you're really interested in. They have a Teams model at about $8 per user per month. So if you've got multiple people that need to use SciSpace, you have that option. The basic option is $0. You get 100 credits from that. And really from all the work that we just did, I used about 400 credits so far. And that's just basic searches, pulling up a couple grants, pulling up a couple documents, doing some reworks and things like that. So you'll be able to do a lot with this as you go. But of course, if you need more, if you're 1,200, you're doing some really deep research, then $12 a month. Advanced for, you're trying to get your doctorate, you're going, you're trying to write your thesis. And then you got the advanced. Now with the advanced, it's also about running more than one query at a time. We ran 2 at a time. This one will let you run 4 at a time. And that's the one that technically I'm on right now to show you how everything is going. And that was the credits that SciSpace did send to me. So you can get, it gives you everything in premium. So it's unlimited chats with papers and PDFs. So let's do this. Let's show you what the basic model looks like. Here I am in just the basic model, absolutely free. Get 100 credits a month. There it is right here. And it's telling me I got 100 left. So let's just do a basic search of papers. On the same stuff, we'll do stem cells and we'll let it run. So running that simple report on stem cells, and we've got out of 100, we're at 68. That took about 32 credits to run. So if you're looking for something that's just basic research, then the basic plan will work for you. But if you need more, there you go. That's all the prices right there. And of course, with that basic plan, keep in mind with that basic plan, there's some things you can do. There's some things you won't be able to do. You'll only be able to run one thing at once. So keep that in mind as you're going. But this is a great way to check it out to see if this is something that works for you. But anyway, that is SciSpace in a nutshell. Let's talk about some of the pros and cons of SciSpace. So far, the only real cons is when you go to research something, it's going to take a little while to call things up. So you'll click on something and then it will call some more stuff up. So that'll take a little bit more time. But the reality is the time that takes to call up answers versus the time that an assistant would take to call up answers, going to the library, pulling out the books, reading the passages, trying to get some information. You might have it close on hand, but you'll still have to use this as reference points and then bring that back so you can put all your data together. That makes this a lot better. And if you think about it, if Big Bang Theory was to still be doing shows today, would they be using something like this to be creating content? I'm blown away what we can actually learn from here. I did a lot of stuff on stem cell research, but once again, this is science. I mean, you could have it do the periodic table of elements. In fact, let's see what happens if we do that. Creating an interactive periodic table of elements website. This is another feature that we can set up. So now it's going to be creating a website that has all the elements for you. I can then take that and I can import that into my website, or I can create a brand new website with all this information. So it took about 10, 12 minutes, something like that. But the end result is actually pretty impressive. So we have the website right here. We have all the information, all the files right here that you can pull down. And then of course, this is basically a sandboxed version of the website. So as you can see, all the elements right here. And I have a feeling if we click on it, yep, that's going to tell us our element of beryllium. Yes. Or if we're over here, that's neon right there. That is arsenic. So you get the idea. So we've created a website that we can use for our own use or for external use or whatever. And that is SciSpace.com. Got a great pricing model. We've got a lot of options here. Some of the stuff over my head, of course, but I can use it for what I need to. Maybe I'll do some research on solar panels. Maybe I'll do some research on how capacitors work. We could probably just figure out how to make a motherboard or anything like that, or build on our electronics from there in that form of the sciences, or in the biological realm of the sciences. What do you think about it? Let me know in the comments below over at Geekazine.com, youtube.com/Geekazine, where you can like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification so you know when the next video comes out. Until next time, my name is Jeffrey Powers. You guys geek out and blind me with science.